Alright, hello and welcome back everyone to what is most likely the final episode of our Bloodborne playthrough. Once we go through this gate, we are at the last boss of the Bloodborne game. I wanted to do all of the Chalice dungeons, but I'm not going to grind through to pick up Ritual Blood to do all the Chalice dungeons. It just doesn't seem like it'll be fun to watch, so I'm not going to do it. If you want to see that, may I suggest Gab? Gab Smolders on YouTube. She did a Bloodborne playthrough where she did all of the Chalice dungeons. So yeah, before we go through here, there's a couple of things that we have to do to be able to do the full thing. We need to eat these umbilical cords. Which we have read previously, which is why I'm not reading them now. You can see that it gives you a significant amount of insight. You get 3 for each. Then we go through here. And we're in this beautiful field of lumen flowers. That's what these white flowers are called in universe. I believe, I'm pretty sure. And here is Yharnam.
Good hunter, you've done well. The night is near its end. Now, I will show you mercy. You will die, forget the dream, and awake under the morning sun.
So that's option 1.
You will be freed.
Is be freed
from this terrible hunter's dream.
If you do that, he kills you and the game ends. If you refuse...
Dear, oh dear. What was it? A hunt? Blood? Or the horrible dream?
Oh, some combination of the 3, I'm sure.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Comes down to the hunter's helper to clean up after these sorts of messes.
I'm sure it does. As he pulls out probably one of the coolest frickin' weapons in the game.
Tonight, Yharnam joins the hunt.
I got him, but not early enough. Uh-oh. I need to wait a little longer before shooting them on that. There we go. Uh-oh. Come on, get the heal off. There we go. Uh-oh. Whew. Come on. Uh-oh. Ooh. Get out of there. Because that will hurt. There we go. The night and the dreams were long, he says. Prey slaughtered. First try, actually. I'm very impressed by that. We get the old hunter badge, and there's no way I'm beating what comes next with just 3 blood vials. Unless I get incredibly lucky. Because here is what has created the hunter's dream. A meeting with an old one. Now, if you haven't eaten all of your umbilical cords, the hunter's dream, the moon presence eats you, and you become the new Gehrman, basically. The new keeper of the dream. But we ate all our umbilical cords. We have all of our insight. We are close to being an old one. And as such, the moon presence can't eat us. Uh-oh. Oh, there goes my last blood vial. Jeez. Uh-oh. I pressed the wrong button trying to swap weapon forms. And so you saw my character reach for her hip to pull a blood vial out. And yeah, that's bad. Don't do that. It gets you killed. I don't remember if we have to fight Gehrman again or not. I don't remember if it just starts you against the moon presence or if you have to fight Gehrman again. Nope, it just starts you against the moon presence. Uh-oh. Mistimed my roll. Man, I didn't want you to do that. I just wanted to swap. Jeez. Yeah. What the fuck? Oh, I can't heal. Oh, that's bad. Oh, that's real bad. Oh, this is not good. This is real not good. Okay. There we go. And the moon presence is taken care of. And the hunter's nightmare is slain. And we earn 23,000 blood echoes. And we turn into a slug.
Oh, good hunter.
We become a great one. And that is the end of Bloodborne. I love this game. I love everything about this game. It is a masterclass in environmental storytelling. So much of this story you cannot know without looking at the environment and reading the item descriptions. And I know that's something that the Soulsborne games have been known for a long time. But I feel like it never was as clear or as obvious as it is in Bloodborne. And I love it. I love everything about it. The combat in this game is incredible. It is my favorite of the Soulsborne games because the combat is so fast-paced and aggressive. The secret to being successful is using the regain mechanic, where if you hit an enemy after they've hit you, you get that health back. At least a portion of it. But additionally, that regain mechanic is an interesting story point. And we hear about it in the Beast Blood pellets, where being spattered by your opponent's blood brings forth a feeling of euphoria. We are blood drunk in this game, as all hunters are. After receiving that blood ministration, any blood will heal us a little bit. Special blood heals us a lot, but any blood heals us a little bit. So you'll notice that, like, any time an enemy's blood would spatter on us, that's when we get our regain. That's why it stops after they're dead, but not exactly after they're dead. After they're dead and their blood has stopped pumping. Anyway, I got dragged into a lore while I was talking about how much I love the combat mechanics. I love the combat mechanics. This is by far one of my favorite games of all time. I love this game. This was... Oh, there's the music box. This was the very first Soulsborne game I ever played. I got it for free with PS Plus back several years ago. And man, I struggled. I struggled. I had never played anything like this that was so unforgiving, so punishing on any mistake. The smallest mistakes just immediately took you out. And I am very grateful to my brother for helping me through that and loving these games because I love them so much. These games are so good. Anyway, the combat design in this game is amazing. The enemy designs in this game are phenomenal. Every single one of them is gross, but with dignity. You can see where they came from. You can see what happened to make them what they are. It's fascinating. It's fascinating. The music in this game is something that is so easy to overlook because you're so focused in on fighting and beating the game and beating the enemies when the game is so punishing. It's really easy in those boss fight moments where there is music, because there isn't really music anywhere else, or very rarely at least. But it is so good. Like, the Bloodborne soundtrack is one of my favorite game soundtracks of all time, and we're listening to it now. It's just hauntingly beautiful. And every song is hauntingly beautiful. The audio design is some of my favorite audio design. The guns all sound similar, but that's okay because the guns are not meant to not sound similar. Like, they're not... It's not a game that focuses on guns. The guns are there as a parry mechanic, not as a actual weapon. Although, I did recently watch a guy who goes by the name of Half Damage HD. Which, if y'all don't know HD on Twitch, go check HD out. He did a guns-only run of Bloodborne that was just... It was so freaking cool. So rad. He's also done a bunch of other game playthroughs that are super rad, and he's just a really cool guy. So you can do a guns-only run. It's possible. But that's not really what they're there for, right? So the fact that the gun sounds all sound the same, not that big of a deal. But there are little things that are just so perfectly on point. Like the sound of getting off a visceral attack. That whoom that comes through. It really makes you feel powerful. It really makes you feel like you've done something cool. Which, yeah, you have. Like, good job. I love that. I love the sound design of all the areas. Hearing... The fact that hearing the sinister bell tells me immediately that this is a place where a bell-ringing woman is going to make things difficult. The one thing with sound design that I don't really care for in this game is all of the bosses sound pretty much exactly the same. They all do big screeches and cries. And that's about it. Like, there isn't a whole lot else to be done there. Which is kind of a bummer. Yeah, I love this game. I think the game itself is beautiful. And we start back here for New Game Plus.
Oh, don't you worry.
You can see that we're wearing our Ash armor set, though. Because New Game Plus, you get to keep all your stuff. The enemies get stronger, but you get to keep all of your stuff and get to go through it again. Which is pretty rad, honestly. It's a pretty rad mechanic. You can keep going. I don't remember what the last New Game Plus cycle is in Bloodborne off the top of my head, but I know it's like up to like, the enemies keep getting stronger up to like New Game Plus 16 or something. I don't remember exactly. But it's the same way in Dark Souls, and it's super rad. And look at the design of this. Like, This beast is horrifying and born of blood. And he comes out of a pool of blood after we've received blood ministration for the first time. And that tells you that these beasts, from the hunt unending, are created from blood ministration. Or at least that's what I think that means. Here are the messengers.
You found yourself a hunter.
And there it is. We now have, you'll notice that we got 14 insight from beating Gehrman and the Moon Presence. Seek pale blood to transcend the hunt. Pale blood, as we now know, is the blood of the kin of the Old Ones. And we know that because when they bleed, it's milky white. So we transcended the hunt successfully. Now, so far as why do we end up back here? After we've transcended the hunt? I don't know exactly. I have a couple of theories. One is that it's just a gameplay convenience. You know, a way to keep the game going. That guy that killed us first time we came here? Yeah, not a problem anymore. Man, all the creaky of the floorboards, the sounds of, if you just stop and you listen. That haunting wind sound. But there's also something else that sounds, it's in the panic register. And it's so subtle, but it sets you just a little on edge. Just something is slightly not right here. And you can feel it in your gut. That something is not quite right. Oh, it's so incredible. Everything about this game is so incredible to me. I love it so much. I can't even describe to you how much I love this game. Yeah. Get dead, nerd. And we can hear the cleric beast. And we can see the bridge where we fought the cleric beast. And I just feel like watching these cinematics is a really nice bookend. I also think it's interesting that when we become a Great One, we awaken in the same place that we do when we first awaken in the Hunter's Dream. Get to accept gifts from messengers again. Yharnam's right there. It's truly, truly an incredible game. Closed. Well, y'all, that's it. I've talked about the lore of Bloodborne several times. I've talked about how the church, they went digging through the Chalice dungeons, or the Bergenworth, the Scholars of Bergenworth, found the remains of a great old one, uncovered that those remains could be used to heighten their understanding of the unseen world and also to heal others. There was a schism within the scholars, which created the Church of Blood, which wanted to use the old blood to heal more and more people. Unfortunately, through using the old blood to heal more and more people, they created the Scourge of Beasts, which required them to create the Hunters. When that got out of hand, the Nightmare was created. The Unending Hunt was created by the church, both by the choir and by the School of Menses, although they both went about it in different ways. Part of that meeting that precipitated the Hunter's Dream, I think, happened right when they found that old one. That's when they met the Moon Presence, specifically Yharnam. And Yharnam became the Hunter's helper. And so the night repeats endlessly until we transcend the hunt by destroying the old one, who is forcing the night to repeat endlessly. It is incredible. This game is incredible. If you haven't played it and you enjoy action-adventure games and you have a PS4 to play it on, do. This game is so good. I cannot say enough good things about Bloodborne. I love this game from the very bottom of my heart. And I'm a little sad to say goodbye, but every journey has to have an end. And on the exciting upswing, that means that we will have a new series taking its place next week. I've got a couple of ideas about that. I'm going to think about them and talk to my wife about them and talk to my friends about them. And then I will, get back to y'all and you'll see what I decide next week. Stick around, subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss anything else that I'm doing. We're still going to be playing Final Fantasy 13 because I have no idea how close I am to finishing that game. Leave a like on the video if you have enjoyed this. I certainly have. Plus, liking the video really does help out the channel, helps me to know that I'm making stuff that you guys enjoy. And for the last time, both the Hunter and I say bye.